What's up, guys? It's your boy Zawoki back out with another Chris Watts video, and the man himself is trying every and any loophole to get out of prison. This man is trying to research his crime to find out any loophole he had that, oh, they didn't do this right, they didn't do that. When I say they, I'm talking about law enforcement and so forth like that. But the man is still trying to get out. My informant had messaged me stating for the past few months, Chris Watts, obviously we've talked about that he's possibly getting married, but that was denied. Thank Jesus. Because of what his crime was, he's not allowed to get remarried. Thank the Lord. But the man himself is trying to look into law, crime scene. Like, he's looking at books that he's trying to educate himself on. He does get computer time, but again, it's somewhat, how they say it, restricted. And the man is trying to get out. I can tell you for a certainty, I can't say for 100% because I don't know. But the people that I have talked to, which is police, law, judges that have been retired, the man's not getting out. He's in there for 3 life sentences plus 44 years. He committed a quadruple homicide. The man's not getting out. He thinks that he's going to get out because, oh, they didn't read me my rights, or they didn't do this right, or I was coerced into giving a false statement of my murdering my family. Like, dude, what are we talking about? And just so happens, well, I got that information 2 days ago because I was going to post about it a couple days ago, but the whole situation went south with finding out that this person was trying to troll me, bring down the channel with the Watts case content. But Timeless Mysteries came across my YouTube channel. Good friend, content creator. We talk time to time. It's been a while, but he came to one of my lives recently. But he had posted a video a year ago. Could Chris Watts really be released? The shocking legal loopholes that he's trying to weasel himself into. So we're going to watch it together. So before we go any further, make sure you guys are subscribed to my YouTube channel by hitting that whiteboard icon down at the bottom right. Hit the bell icon next to it. So when I do post videos like this one, you guys will get that little ring notification that I've posted that video. And then you guys can watch, comment, like, and share. And again, I thank you all so very much for the love and support. Hopefully one day we get to 100K, but we'll get there one day. It's just slow and steady wins the race, and hopefully we get there. But don't forget to go over to Timeless Mysteries. Go over to there, give him some love by subscribing, commenting, liking, and sharing. The man has tons of content for you to watch and enjoy and follow your deep desires in crime content. So go watch him. But let's get into this video right now. And before we go into this video, I think it's highly ironic that the man that committed these quadruple murders is trying to find, it's like, and this is a bad scenario, but it's like Hitler being like, I didn't do it. I didn't kill all those, you know whats. Pretty sure you did. Pretty sure you did. It's pretty much like that, almost on a bigger scale. So, oh, I'm muted. What the?
Okay. Disappearance of a pregnant Frederick woman and her 2 children has captured the nation's attention.
This house is not complete without anybody here.
You know, you just want to like reach through the screen like this and just like this is his face, and you just want to be like, like shut up.
We see a lot of horrible stories where a husband kills his wife.
It was no surprise to the public.
87% of spouses, male, are always the person to be looked at. 47% is the woman. But then it goes down the rabbit hole of boyfriends, girlfriends, daters, polyamorous, whatever. It goes into a weird... Because when I was like 87% of males and then 47% female, I'm like, wait a minute, the math is not mathing here. So I was like, but they're doing all these different percentages of different kinds. So you have the husband, then you have the wife, then you have the boyfriend, then you have the girlfriend, then you have three-wayers, and then you have the female orientation of the same thing as that rhymes with hey, because I can't say it on the channel. Then you have the guys, the two dudes, the two ladies, and then you have polyamorous, so they're all dating like 5 different people. It's weird, it's ridiculous, but yeah, that's the statistic. But Chris Watts is part of that 87%.
When Chris Watts confessed to the brutal strangulation of his pregnant wife, Shannon, and his 2 young daughters, Bella and Celeste.
So precious.
What if I told you that Chris Watts' confession was coerced through deception and psychological manipulation?
I would agree with that, but he gave his confession to his father. They were just listening in. They were the fly on the wall, but a camera version.
I have proof.
Psychological... I don't know.
Our justice system, which claims to uphold the principle of innocent until proven guilty, has allowed law enforcement to manipulate those they believe are guilty with zero accountability. This is not just about one man's guilt or innocence. It's about the integrity of the system that governs us all. Consider this.
And there's a lot of loopholes in our government system. Talking about officials up top.
Approximately 1.3 million people are convicted of felonies in the United States each year.
That's ridiculous.
Studies suggest that around 1 to 5%.
Get some help. Go to Jesus. Go to church. Believe in the Bible, and you won't have this 1.3 million people.
Of all convictions may be wrongful. Using a conservative estimate of 1%, this would mean about 13,000 wrongful convictions annually, while only 3,000 people have been exonerated.
Which I can understand that there are going to be your sort of wrong convictions, but like burglary, or that one case where the man was driving a Prius and the brakes went out, but they charged him for reckless homicide of a vehicle, or I can't remember what it was called, but they found out later on that it was actually the car and that he was innocent. So that is like a false accusation or a false murder. And usually the guy or the person that gets wrongfully accused gets out and then gets like a whole bunch of money because they end up suing the state. But Chris Watts literally, again, you can't use it in court because lie detectors are but he was such a great liar, as in they caught him. He had to be a -4 to fail his polygraph. The man had a -18. There's no stating that this man is innocent, okay? There's no way. Plus, who else would have had a motive to take the family out? Chris was seeing a mistress. The mistress wanted to be with Chris indefinitely. Again, we can't look at her 100% because they won't let us talk to her. She's hiding. Well, hiding is not going to be forever, woman. Just saying, because I guarantee you're watching my videos. You're that bored. But The man thinks that he was wrongfully accused. I don't think he was wrongfully accused. He sits there and says that he was not harassed, but he was like asked questions like hard, like he couldn't take it anymore. It was so much. Bro, they're rubbing your back. They're telling you, oh, they're joking with you. Like, come on. This ain't no interrogation where they had you up by your feet and dunk you in water. Where is she? And then dunking him in the water. No.
Since 1989, if false confessions contribute to 25% of the 13,000 wrongful convictions each year, then coercive tactics would be responsible for around 3,250 wrongful convictions annually, highlighting the critical need for accountability in our justice system.
Tonight, police issued a missing endangered alert for Shannon Watts and her 2 daughters.
I thought after 24 hours, like, you get an Amber Alert. Somebody said that one time it's only if it's involving a car. I guess it's different with different counties and different states, but I thought within 24 hours, if somebody's missing, it goes to an Amber Alert. I could be wrong, but
Her husband says she's been missing since Monday morning.
Connect the dots between both of you being upset and crying, and here we are now. She and the kids are gone.
I think about, like, did I cause this? Like, did I make her feel like she needs to leave? Maybe she sat there and thought about it, like, do I really need to stay here right now? Like, if he doesn't love me, maybe I should just go.
But what about those who are corrupt?
what did he just say?
Do I really need to stay here right now? Like, if he doesn't love me?
If he doesn't love me, maybe I should just go. That's why she bought you a book about saving your marriage. She asked you about going to counseling. You said no. Come on, Chris. Come on.
Maybe I should just go.
But what about those who are correctly convicted using coercion? The use of coercive tactics, even in cases where the suspect is guilty.
Yeah, but that's like coercion. If you're like, oh, if you tell us where they are, we'll give you a juice box. Okay, here's my juice box. Okay, so I did it. I did it all, but I actually didn't. But thank you for the juice box. What? That's literally how he thinks this is.
Still undermines the integrity of the justice system. Welcome to Timeless Mysteries. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Today, we discuss one of the most shocking murder cases in recent history. We will expose the unethical and coercive methods used to extract Watts' confession.
I think it's in the top 5 of most talked about cases. That's how big it is.
And examine several severe violations to his constitutional rights.
If you commit a crime, his constitutional rights are gone. If you are a pedophile, your constitutional rights are gone. Burglary. You don't need to steal. There's other ways to get money. But if you do it, if you go into the prison system for any reason, your constitutional rights should be taken away. You had your chance to have those rights. It's not, how do I want to say this? Constitutional rights are a right to have, but you have to earn and maintain those rights. You don't just get to murder somebody and be like, oh, I got rights. You need to read me my Miranda rights. I think that's a bunch of hogwash. I think it's just so dumb. I wish there was a way they could redo it because, like I said, they shouldn't be able to vote. They shouldn't be able to give their 2 cents on any public matter or whatever have you when it comes to rights. They should be treated as if they were dogs because they have a chance to be civilized civilians to society, work, have a family, grow up, grow old, and so on. Have a house, have an apartment, whatever have you. But not to commit crime. And when you commit that crime, it's gone. Does anybody agree with me, or am I wrong? It's just my thoughts.
Confession and subsequent plea deal have been accepted by the U.S. court system? Stay with us as we unravel these questions and more. This is an episode you cannot afford to miss. On August 13th, 2018, Shanann Watts and her daughters were...
And no, this channel is not AI. This is his actual voice. So, just people were asking me one day, they're like, is Timeless Mysteries an AI channel? Like, have you not seen his lives? I've gone to a few of them. It's his actual voice.
Reported missing from their home in Frederick, Colorado. Chris Watts, Shanann's husband, quickly became the prime suspect. On August 4th,
this man could definitely read crime books, and I could listen to it for hours.
14th, 2018, Watts voluntarily submitted to an interview at the Frederick Police Department, where detectives, FBI Special Agent Graham Coder, and CBI Agent Tammy Lee initiated questioning, and Watts maintained his innocence.
There's only one person in this room that knows what the truth is, and in about 5 minutes, there's going to be 2 of us.
He had every right to get up and walk out. He had that right at that time. And he didn't take it. He had the right to remain silent and get an attorney. He did not. He didn't exercise those rights. So that was on him.
On August 15th, 2018, Agent Tammy Lee administered a polygraph test to Watts at the CBI office in Denver. Watts failed the polygraph, providing law enforcement with a pretext to intensify their interrogation tactics. They confronted Watts with fabricated evidence, implying the existence of irrefutable proof of his guilt. Under significant psychological pressure, Watts broke down and confessed on August 16th, initially claiming that Shanann killed the children and he, in turn.
That bunch of malarkey pisses me off so much because this coward was willing to give up his wife innocently, or an innocent wife, yes, to gain one up over his wife. You're sick, man. Sick.
Killed her in a rage. This partial confession was further manipulated until Watts admitted to killing Shanann and their daughters. The Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution protects individuals from self-incrimination, ensuring that confessions must be voluntary and not coerced. The landmark case, Miranda v. Arizona, 1966, established that suspects must be informed of their rights, including the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. Despite Watts being read his Miranda rights, the subsequent deceptive tactics used arguably rendered his confession involuntary. The 14th Amendment guarantees due process, which includes the right to fair treatment through the judicial process. The coercive nature of the interrogation, characterized by psychological manipulation and deception, violated Watts' due process rights. The Supreme Court in Colorado versus Connolly 1986 emphasized that confessions must be the product of a suspect's free will, devoid of coercion.
It was. They literally asked, "Would you tell us?" And he goes, "I'd like to speak to my father." So when the father came in, he told the father. They didn't pressure him. They didn't push him. He gave it up.
Please keep in mind that polygraph results are not usually admissible in court due to their unreliability. However, they are often used to apply psychological pressure, which is ethically questionable. These results were leveraged to confront Watts, exacerbating the coercive environment. Special Agent Graham Coder and Agent Tammy Lee also fabricated claims of witness testimonies and forensic proof.
If it did have something to do with their disappearance, it would be really stupid for you to come in and take a polygraph.
Come give me a hug. Oh,
I can't get that image
She made a statement.
out of my head.
Tammy Lee states, I assessed Chris's psychophysiological responses to these 3 key questions related to Shanann's disappearance. Did you physically cause Shanann's disappearance? Are you lying about the last time you saw Shanann? Do you know where Shanann is now? She goes on to say, it is my professional opinion Chris was not being truthful during the testing. Analysis of the polygraph test using the empirical scoring system resulted in a statistically significant numerical score that support a conclusion of deception indicated. However, there is no mention of the actual score or other questions or responses that might have shown.
There is. It's a -4 that he's supposed to get to show that he failed the test. He had a -18.
Whether he was being truthful about different aspects of the investigation. This selective focus could suggest a subjective interpretation of the results.
So it is completely clear that you were not honest during the testing, and I think you already know that. You did not pass the polygraph test.
Okay.
Okay. So now we need to talk about what actually happened. I feel like you're probably ready to do that. It's not even an option right now because you did not pass the polygraph, so I know you were being deceptive. So that's not even an issue right now. The issue right now is what happened to Shanann.
Where are they?
That's that first location I went to that day. That's 319.
So Chris, are they in something? Are they under the ground? Like,
they're asking questions and he's reciprocating. He could have shut up. He could have been silent. Everybody knows that you have the right to remain silent. Everybody knows about the Miranda rights. Like, you can't tell me anybody above 16 doesn't know that. I think my kids know that.
This tactic, designed to break down Watts' psychological defenses, directly contributed to the coercion of his confession. Investigators then suggested scenarios, such as Shanann killing the children, to minimize Watts' culpability and encourage confession. This approach is known as the Reed technique. Its use controversial due to its potential to coerce false confessions.
They're acting like this is how it went down. This is not how it went down.
It works particularly well when combined with other deceptive practices. The psychological pressure from these practices undermined the voluntariness of the confession. Law enforcement did not care about violating Watts' rights under the 14th Amendment. Legal precedent, such as Frazier versus Cupp, 1969, highlights that while some level of deception is permissible, it must not override the suspect's free will. Watts' compromised mental state, aggravated by the intense psychological manipulation, further undermined the validity of his confession. This is critical, undeniable proof that the confession was not a product of rational and voluntary decision-making. Our justice system should be based on truth and fairness, not coercion and manipulation. Had the case
I don't think it's coercion or manipulation. Do you? I don't think so.
Case proceeded to trial, Chris.
I think there are bad cops. Bad people that are playing good cops. Or playing good law enforcement.
Watts' defense attorney, John Walsh, could have filed a motion to suppress the confession based on its coerced nature.
Mr. Watts, why did you kill your wife and 2 children?
3.
Today, prosecutors filed a
They forget Nico. Nico needs to be heard. He was a human being.
motion requesting fingerprints, cheek swabs, and hand pictures from Chris Watts. They believe Watts is responsible for all 3 deaths.
Despite accepting a plea deal on November 6, 2018, to avoid the death penalty,
Colorado didn't have the death penalty anyways. So why did he plead guilty? There was no death penalty. They wanted the death penalty, but let me look it up. Hold on. Okay, I was wrong. So apparently, yes, at this moment, Colorado is not a death penalty state. but it was up to 2020. So he could have been under the death penalty, but he would have been taken off the death penalty anyways because they motioned it in 2020 to remove it. So why did he give a testimony of, or why did he take a plea deal when there was never going to be a death penalty sentence? He would have outlived it because the crime was in 2018. 2020, they changed it. They took it away. So, I don't know. I feel like it's confusing with that. I'm so glad I didn't get into law because I would be confused.
Watts could pursue an appeal based on several grounds,
Which he tried, 35C, and it was denied.
Watts could argue that his attorney, John Walsh, failed to adequately challenge the coercive tactics and deception used during.
But just think if that happened, they would reopen the case. It would go a whole different way. But they're not going to waste their time. The judges, the people that have come to me that are retired, there's actually people that they've said that they are doing it as we speak. They just wanted to give their 2 cents. They asked me not to give out their names, which I understand because they don't want to give out where they work or whatever have you. But they literally have said, Chris is right where he is. He's never getting out. He's stuck there. There's a motion or a possible motion to look into NK for a whole nother new case. But Chris Watts' case is not going to be reopened. Ever.
During the interrogation, resulting in an uninformed and involuntary plea. The plea,
unless a new DA challenged this case.
Deal itself could be contested on the basis that it was not made.
I feel for that man. Man had cute little nieces, about to be a nephew. He loved being an uncle. You see it in the pictures. And that was just taken away from him. Now he's an uncle spiritually. That would hurt me. I'm not going to lie. It would. Well, it hurts me now because my sister and I don't talk, unfortunately. I've tried reaching out, but I miss my nephew. And I would love to grow up and have somewhat of a little relationship with him. See him at Christmas time. See him at his birthday. It's hard. So I understand a little bit of what Frankie's going through, Junior, but I don't. Because I can see pictures of mine still. Unfortunately, Frankie Jr. doesn't get that. So, my condolences to Frankie Jr. if he ever sees this.
Made voluntarily. The psychological manipulation and pressure exerted by law enforcement.
And I'm not saying not to the Rusek family entirely. My condolences to them as well. I just saw Frankie Jr. right there.
Compromised Watts' ability to make an informed decision. An appeal could focus on the violation of Watts' 5th and 14th Amendment rights due to the coercive nature of the interrogation tactics.
I kind of want him to try it. Just we wanted to see in the I also wouldn't want them to because then that would bring the Ruseks back in, and they've been through enough. So I kind of want them to do it just for him, but not on the chance of the Ruseks being in pain and suffering to go through it all again. I would like to just see, just as a kind of like, I just kind of want to know, but it's not going to happen.
Substantial potential grounds for appeal. However, his overwhelming guilt, psychological trauma, and public vilification have led him to accept his punishment as a form of penance and influence his reluctance to challenge the procedural injustices he faced. Thank you for joining us on Timeless Mystery.
He literally told his mom that he is taking the plea deal and that he's claiming guilty, which Cindy said back, don't, how'd you say it? Don't claim guilty if you didn't do it. Again, but we were actually not able to see much of the evidence. We haven't seen the swabs. We haven't seen the handprints that he took, the footprints. We didn't get to see any of that. It all got put in a box that says Watts on the side of it, probably a case number, and it got thrown on the shelf. Or it's all burned up. I don't know how long they have to keep. How long do they have to keep evidence? All right, so it says here that if in Colorado, evidence from the murder cases is kept in the evidence room for an indefinite period because there is no statute of limitations on the crime of murder. Evidence retention is guided by the following principles: biological, for felonies, and so forth like that. So it is indefinite. So why are we allowed to see it? If you want us to stop talking about it, like we've said before, put up or shut up. Show us what you have. You said, the DA literally said, we have so much more stuff, but if I had to release it, it would take my crew forever. Forever. I need to know your guys' thoughts down below. And for those people that are in the legal system, please don't just come and tell me. Write in the comments. If you feel that strongly, write it in the comments. I would love to see legal lawyers, legal judges, police officers, detectives. Write it in below. I would love to see you guys stating what you learned. For those that are not, let me know your thoughts as well. I surely love reading as much as I can. And then don't forget to go over to Timeless Mysteries. Give him some love. Subscribe, comment, like, and share. Do you think his 14th Amendment was violated? Do you think that he was coerced? Do you think he should be given to get out? What is it called? Bail. He's in for life with no possibility of parole. So he can't get out. And then put him under house arrest. People are saying that he should be on house arrest. He's a changed man. No. A person that murders a family of 4 is not a changed man. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Once a liar, always a liar. Like, you can't turn it off. You could try, but the people love to do it. And Chris is one of those people that love to do it. He even said it. He's like, oh, I told my teacher I went to China. She believed it, right? Oh my gosh. Like, he just keeps lying and lying and lying and lying. And he wants us to believe his lies. So, and it shows that he has no remorse because he wanted to try to get remarried again. That shows no remorse. Again, put your comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn on notifications. We will see you guys in the next video. Please take care. Be safe. And as always, keep nerding on. And we will see you guys in the next video.